watching YBLTV.
So Mike, a mobile marketing campaign is worth nothing unless you've got good analytics. If you've got a good trigger, NFC, QR code, Microsoft tag, congratulations. How is the mVision Insight platform presented differently?
Sure. Yeah, and you're exactly right. When you think about a mobile marketing kind of campaign, if you can't measure it and you can't do anything with it to derive more lifetime value of the customer or figure out what kind of offer that is going to be more acceptable to them, then it really is a point in time solution rather than an engagement over time piece, which is far more valuable. So we've had in our ScanLife platform for years a level of analytics that no one's been able to touch. It tells you things like number of scans, where people were when they scanned. It'll give you overlay maps that are heat maps, geographic mapping and so forth, those kinds of things, and they've been great. But what we have found is that now as people are doing more complex campaigns, the desire to find deep analytics that allow you to correlate between all of the different kinds of data points that we get. For example, we get between 40 and 60 data points every time someone scans something. To figure out which of those is the important ones and how they correlate over time is incredibly important. And mVision is the platform that allows us to get to that level of depth of analysis, which is really a big data kind of deep BI capability, way beyond what the base platform does. So mVision is for people who are looking for that level of analysis.
So engagement and loyalty, one of your case studies with Coca-Cola, the snowball effect, how did that bring a lot of good success for them?
Sure. A lot of people look at a QR campaign or any of these mobile engagement campaigns in terms of the number of scans that you might get. And that's really not the metric that matters. And I can generate many scans, but it's not going to do you any good. It's really a question of the engagement and the follow-up and what do you get the person to do as a result of scanning. So it's more akin to lead management than it is to CPM. So when you think about it that way, it's the call to action. And in the campaign that you referenced, it was really about trying to get people to participate in a charitable event through an augmented reality kind of experience. It was triggered off of a QR code. So the technology behind it to make all of those pieces flow was actually quite intense, but it did result in millions and millions of scans. So Coke was very pleased with it.
Your background has been very rich in mobile marketing. My gosh, 10 years now, and you've participated on some really great boards, CTIA, I believe, among many others. Where do you see the future of this whole industry going? I mean, we've also got, augmented reality out there as well.
Sure. It's a really interesting topic. Right now, when someone takes their smartphone out and they want to engage with something, it's a prescriptive kind of thing. They're saying, I want information, and they'll go and they'll scan, or they'll use an NFC kind of thing, but they're initiating the action on their part. Where I see this going is it becomes not only that, which is really something that's going to be there forever, because when I want it, but you may not be aware that there's a code out there or that there's an action that can happen as a result of seeing an object. So it's the whole idea that a smartphone has sensors in it that extend beyond human vision. And we believe that there's a future in tapping into those additional sensors so that you can get passive information given to you about the world around you that's presented if you want it. And imagine walking through an aisle, and if you're wearing glasses, for example, like the Epson glasses that we just did some work with them. From that perspective, you would be able to get more information about what happens to be in that aisle presented to you without you having to say, well, wait a minute, I want to know about this. We would just know that you were interested in new DVRs. And when you pass one, we could give you more information about it based on your historical patterns of what you've expressed an interest in already. So when it becomes something of more information just being made available to you based off of these maybe human invisible triggers, but the visible ones are still there if you want something explicit, that's where it really becomes part of your daily life. And that's really an exciting future for us.
Speaking of Epson, you beat me to it there. That's where we met. I commented on your tie, and you're wearing another beautiful tie. So with regards to Epson then, what work did you do with them?
Sure, there's really two elements to that deal. The first is around a printer, which they've announced too. And in our Scanlife app, which is distributed, there's 85 million copies of it installed, so it's a rather large installed base. We allow people to create a QR code on the phone. Now, okay, so you can create your own QR code, but what we added is this deep integration with Epson's new printer, label printer line, where there's a button there that says print the QR code, and we will auto-discover if there's any of these Epson printers there, and it'll say how many copies do you want, and it'll just automatically start printing on that printer. So that you can now say, well, I wanted it for a trade show, or I wanted it to put something on shelves or something like that, back on my business card. You're able to now do that right from your cell phone. You don't have to log into the platform or any of that. So it's a very powerful, cool feature, but it required deep integration with Epson. The other thing is some fundamental technology around their goggles related product. And so this is the Moviso line, and it's about adding scanning capability to the inherent what that device can do. And we're not announcing all the details of that at this point, but suffice to say, Scanlife works particularly well in that environment as well.
Mike Wehrs, President and CEO of Scanbuy, thank you so much for your time.
It was my pleasure. Thank you very much.